and cutting apart this probably 100-year-old oak tree. It's a beautiful tree. It was a massive tree. Very thankful that Dell brought his tractor because it was huge. And at first I was like, oh wow, like this is heartbreaking that this tree has come down. This is heartbreaking that the winds were this strong. And then as we began to cut on it, I discovered something. We discovered that the whole right side of that tree was rotten. It started down at the base and traveled up to the top of the tree, and the whole right side of the tree was dead. But looking at that tree from the outside, you couldn't see that. Now, there was something living that was still very, very alive that we kept encountering, and that was a vine. The vine had twisted its way up and throughout the whole tree. So I was faced with these two things. On one side, I saw a tree that was healthy and beautiful and created shade, but on the inside it was rotten. And I thought about the fact that, sometimes in our lives we look like we've got it all together, but God's looking at our heart and He knows where our heart is. And then I was constantly faced with this vine that was thriving and growing. Even though the tree had fallen down, it was still green and very, very much alive. In fact, frequently my legs would get tangled in it. At one point, I was trying to move and this vine just had a hold of me. And I was trying to pull this branch and I was just tangled up in these vines. To the point that I have a little nick on my ankle from where it wrapped around my ankle so tight that it cut the skin. And I was reminded of John 15:5, where Jesus said, I am the vine, you are the branches. He that abides in me bears much fruit, but apart from me, you can do nothing. You see, that tree hadn't been using the root system. That tree had become rotten on the inside, and it fell over when the strong winds came because there was no nourishment on that tree. There wasn't enough holding it together. But that vine had stayed locked in. It had stayed tied to the ground. It had stayed tied to its nutrient source. And it was still strong and healthy and thriving. So I want to ask you, I want you to think, do you feel like you're being tossed about, thrown about by the winds and by everything that's happening in the world? Do you feel like you were just thrown from one side to another as you watch the news and you hear of wildfires and hurricanes and rioting and just all types of conflict? Where are you tying yourself to? Where is your source of strength? Are you going back to Jesus? Is that where you are finding your strength? Are you abiding and dwelling with Jesus? If you are, then John 15:5 gives us the reminder that we can do it. That apart from Him, though, we cannot do it. So today I want to challenge you. Open up the Bible and spend extra time. Maybe you have a quiet time every day. All right, spend an extra 10 minutes. Maybe you only read your Bible on Sunday. Well, read it one extra day this week. Wherever you are, read more. Spend more time with the Lord today. Because apart from Him, we can't do anything. And we're just going to be like that tree that fell over because we're going to rot from the inside.